Good producer always says, save it for the radio, save it for the radio.
Welcome to another edition of Big Woo Top 20 Countdown. This week we count down the top 20 urban pop songs. And also we're talking to our guest, Justin Harrison. You guys, let's get into this countdown. The number 20 song comes from Charlie Puth. This song is called Changes. Let's get into it. Changes by Charlie Puth on Big Old Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, that was the number 19 song, one of my very favorites on this countdown. Katy Perry with Band-Aids. We're talking to our guest, Justin. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. How you been? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it really has. It really has been a long time. Tell my listeners about yourself.
My name is Justin Harrison. I am a film producer and director, and about 6 years ago, I founded a tech company called You Only Virtual, and we recreate people using artificial intelligence. We were like before ChatGPT, all this kind of stuff. We were starting to develop this technology. We came out right around the same time. And what we really look at is creating the relationships between people, the dynamics between people, so that when you speak to AI, it speaks to you in the same way you expect a human to speak to you. And the main idea that I started was so that I could keep talking to my mom after she passed away.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I've known
Wow.
and I've known O for about 7 years now, 6 years, 5 years,
7 years,
maybe
seven.
five,
Yeah,
five,
seven,
7 years,
seven,
something like that.
seven, seven, seven. I think seven. I don't know. No, no,
I'm trying to
no,
think, maybe
no.
2021, somewhere, yeah, 5 or 6, I think.
4 years, 4 years, 4 years.
4 years ago. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
So I also had a short-lived studio that's lived on without me. I sold out my part of it, but me and O were I don't know, roommates at the studio. Basically, we shared
Yeah,
space
pretty
there,
much.
and
Yeah,
and for a while, Big O's podcast was happening out of there. So
yeah. So something things happen. So, dang, you started your thing. Wow, you gave you inspiration. I mean, wow, your tech company. Wow, that is like a really big deal to your own tech company. You said you did it out of loss of your mother.
so
Wow.
my mom was dying, and I just I was a single parent household and the only child, and
Mhm.
looking at the prospect of losing my mom was just too much for me. And I was like, well, what could we do about this? Technology's got to have some kind of answer, right? I mean, this is
Yeah.
2020, so or 2019 even. We got smartphones, we got all this. I'm like, they got to figure something out. Sorry, I got my little co-host or my little sidekick here,
It's all right.
little black kitten. Come here.
It's all right. It's all right.
Um, so as I was looking around, I realized like, man, they really can't do anything. And I don't tell this story too often, but I'm glad to be on an entertainment pop culture show. But like, my inspo was really Will Smith, I Robot. I don't know if you remember that
Oh,
movie very well.
I remember that movie. Yeah.
So one of the opening scenes, he's walking into the big corporate tech company, and James Cromwell, the actor James Cromwell, is playing a character. He's sitting there in his lab, standing there in his lab coat, and him and Will start talking. And
Hmm.
then it's revealed that it's actually a hologram projection of him, and it's this AI that can talk to him. And he's like, "Oh, you have to have a better answer." And in the movie, they're all acting like, "Oh, yeah, it's just this dumb hologram. It's not the real thing." And you see the body behind. You realize he's dead. And all I could think to
Hmm.
myself when I saw that back in what that movie was like 2004 or something like that.
Yeah.
All I could think to myself is like, if when I start losing people I love, I would
Hmm.
love to have at least that. Like that's nice. Like you could at least have kind of a conversation, get a feel for them. And
Yeah.
so when I saw there was nothing like that still after, at that point, 15 years since that movie had come out, I was like, well, I'll start my own. I'll start talking to smart people. So that's what I did. I started recruiting engineers, and I did what producers do. I just got people with talent and took credit for it. That's what a good
Mhm.
producer does.
Tyler Perry, but we're not, we're not going to talk about that. You know what? I have one question for you. I really want to ask you, but we're going to ask it after this. Number 18 comes from no, hometown home. Actually, Low Cash. This song is called Hometown Home. Let's get into it. Low Cash with Hometown Home on Big Old Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, that was the number 17 song. John Kay with Never Been in Love. We're talking to our guest, Justin Justin Harrison. Oh my God, that title. I've been in love, but anyways, Justin, it's like, wow, all this technology that you're, man, wow, dang, you're very technological savvy, aren't you?
I mean, I wouldn't, when I got, to be honest, I am now. I mean, like 6 years running a tech company, you either learn or you don't, right?
Hmm.
But when I started I wasn't, I really had to talk to other people to understand how like, so the interesting thing is I actually invented this technology. So I have two US patents, on it.
Oh,
So
okay.
it just didn't exist before. So not only was I trying to understand what currently exists,
Mhm.
but now I'm trying to talk to like professionals about here's my idea. I'm writing it on a piece of paper and stuff, being like, hey, how would we make something like this? And so it was cool. Like now I would say I'm probably uh an expert or close to an expert in this kind of technology because I made it. I was there from the ground floor. But yeah, man, at the beginning, it was all really confusing. I actually have my own podcast called Justin versus the Future, which we'll have to have you on at some point.
Okay,
But
let's go.
the whole concept behind it is what I found in technology was that it's really gate kept. They use all these terms and all this different jargon, but if
Hmm.
you can get past the language barrier of it, like the
Yes.
technology is fairly easy to understand for regular people. So Justin versus the Future is I break down new future technologies that are coming out and I put it into
Mhm.
everyday terms, like I wish somebody had done for me when I started the tech company.
Wow. So what do you feel like is about to come out? I mean, you just give us like something like what do you feel like is coming in the future?
Well, I'm like I said, I started as a filmmaker, so I'm an artist too, like yourself. So the one piece of assurance I can give artists right now is that AI is not going to replace us.
Mhm.
Uh, what I found, having integrated tech and art and now really being in both of those worlds very deeply, is that the human touch, as you play these songs, even, the last song, songs about heartbreak and falling in love and these things, those are experiences that computers can only really just glean from hearing people talk about it, but they haven't had it. So when somebody writes that deep, soulful thing, and you could feel,
Mhm.
you can't replace a Bill Withers. You know what I mean? Like the pain he feels when he sings or sang, R.I.P. It's not replicable by a machine.
That's true. That's true. That is so true. But we're going to talk more to you, but let's get back in this countdown. The number 16 song comes from Sabrina Carpenter. This song is called Tears. Let's get into it. Sabrina Carpenter with Tears on Big Stop 20 Countdown. Y'all know I stole that from Soul Train. Yeah, you guys, that was the number 15 song. Billie Eilish with Wildflower. Now it's time to get into the first extra song of the week. First extra song of the week. Y'all know I gotta insert myself some kind of way. So I did it. I gotta put myself in there. This is the latest single called Celebrate Love. Let's get into it. And the album is actually going to be coming. It's actually the 20th anniversary of my first album, Look What God Has Done this year, 2026. Because we're taping in 2025, but it's going to be broadcast in 2026. This is actually going to be the first single from my 30th album titled Back to the Love Room. This song is called Celebrate Love. Let's get into it. The first extra song of the week, Celebrate Love by me on Big Stop 20 Countdown, baby. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to celebrate love. Yeah, but he hasn't heard it yet, so that's why he ain't bopping to it. You guys, that was my song, Celebrate Love. Oh, man. And you guys have been showing that song love, and I want to say thank you guys so much. We're talking to our guest, Justin. Wow, you're a director. Oh, wow. What are some of the projects, that you've done? Give me some of the projects that you've done.
Well, I think everybody would agree that my best body of work is some of the work that Big O starred in. So people may not know this, but Big O did a commercial that I was
Mm,
directing. And I think
yeah.
we were doing dentist commercials or COVID testing or something like that, something with
I think it
medical.
was COVID testing. I think it was because it's
COVID
been so
testing was
long
big.
ago.
Yeah, I did a
Yeah.
bunch of those. But yeah, since I was a stand-up comedian for years, so I toured the
Oh,
country doing stand-up comedy, and then I decided to
oh,
get behind the camera. I wrote, I directed, I produced. So I've done all kinds of stuff, and ultimately, what I found is I love producing and directing the most because um, you're just involved with every step of the process, beginning to end,
mm,
from the script to development to actually producing it and making it, to editing it in post and seeing how it comes together and then promoting and everything else. It's for the way my mind works, and I find a lot of artists work this way, is like, something I love about is, this man has 30 albums out. He's got a podcast. He does commercials sometimes when I call on him and other people, I'm sure. Um, but our minds work in a way where it's like we really like to see a project, start a project, finish the project. So whether it's a season of something or an album or whatever. And so I love that about the process. I'm a very like detail oriented. I like being in the mix with stuff, but I also like it to be done and I like to move on to the
Yeah.
next thing. So it's actually been a
Yeah.
hard transition for me to be in tech because it's a company, right? It just keeps going like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we got customers and da da da. So I think 2026 will probably be my last year with the company. And
Mm.
I'll probably sell off my piece of it and I'll go into my next adventure, my next creation.
What do you feel is going to be next for you?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I've been so blessed by God in so many ways in my life and my career in terms of I have to fall into what's going to be the next for me. The next thing will sort of present itself the way it's supposed to. But if I had to guess, I mean, where my mind is really leaning is one, I want to start a family. I want to do that whole thing. I know you have
Okay.
kids and I don't yet, and I really would like to do that. So that's an adventure and a project in of itself, as you know, right?
Yes,
Um,
you got to find the right woman. Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like the technology we created is hopefully going to continue to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the political documentaries towards the end of my film career, I got into political documentaries, really trying to make change in the world. So I think the next project is going to be something in that space about making the world better, leaving it a better place, leaving it a better place for my kids that don't exist yet. But yeah, for me, like everything I do career wise, I have to fall into it. It's got to be organic, you know?
Oh wow. I didn't know you didn't have kids. I thought you had kids. My fault. Ugh. All those kids, all those kids I thought saw you posing with wasn't yours. Wow. Good. Good. That's good.
Well, I don't know what kids you, I had a stepson. That's probably what you've seen on social media.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's why. Oh,
And
okay.
he's
My
awesome, but
bad.
me and his mom are divorced and don't really talk. So, you know.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. See, get up in your business. See,
Yeah,
we got.
yeah. Well, you made me sound weird, like Michael Jackson or something now, like I'm posing with kids. I don't know. Like, no, 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 no.
I didn't mean to.
Relax.
Sorry, my
I
bad.
got a niece and a stepson. That's probably what you see, you know?
Oh, that's probably it. That's probably it. That's probably it. See, getting in the business, almond Kool-Aid don't even know the flavor. Anyways, that's an old saying. I don't know. Anyways, you guys, let's get back in this countdown. The number 14 song comes from a good artist, Taylor Swift. This song is called Obelite. Let's get into it. Obelite by Taylor Swift, number 14 on Big Old Stuff 20 Countdown. Yeah, you guys, we did a three in a row for you. We did number 14 was Taylor Swift with Obelite. Number 13 was Olivia Dean with Man I Need. And number 12 was Russell Dickerson with Happen to Me. You guys, oh man, it's early in the morning. We're taping this early in the morning. That's why I'm kind of like just combobulated a little bit. But you guys, the number of the comedy corner is coming from a great, very, very, very good friend of the show. I actually saw his stand-up comedy, and we actually did a video. We actually did a song that was released a couple of days ago. The song was called On and On, but he's a really great stand-up comedian, and his name is David Baptiste. Let's get into it. David Baptiste on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was very, very funny. David Baptiste. We're talking to our guest, Justin Harrison. Wow. You were in comedy. How many years and why did you get into it?
Man, I started doing comedy 22 years ago in
Wow.
Peoria, Illinois, which is actually where Richard Pryor got his start. There's a statue to Richard Pryor in it, and there's a small comedy club there called the Jukebox Comedy Club. And I did my first sets there when I was in college at Western Illinois. Shout out to Western. Um, and yeah, man, I was on and off. I got really serious about it back in 2009, probably 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I made a run at it. You know, I started in San Francisco, where I'm from, and then I moved down here to LA, and I had some big opportunities. Got to work with some really amazing people, and like I said, I got the opportunity to do some producing, and I just fell in love with that, and comedy really became more just a hobby and a passion after that. But I made my living being here's a comedy is it's even a microcosm of that start stop. You know, you have a big show coming up. you get ready
Hmm.
for it, or big weekend of dates, and you get ready, you get your material, you workshop your material, you go do your thing, you hopefully you crush it, right? And it's
Yep.
over, and then you get ready for the next weekend, the next tour, whatever. Um, so it really scratched that itch for me too, man. But like comedy, and David could probably tell you this, great comic, funny stuff, but like comedy is really a lifestyle, man. Like
Yeah.
I mean, they call it in clubs for a reason. We would be in there 7 days a week, just hanging at the club, drinking, talking, blah blah blah, communing with other comics, if you want to call it that. And you're in this perpetual creative process, and I love that, and I love that sort of camaraderie. So comedy was an amazing experience. I actually recently, uh, shout out to Vallejo, San Francisco's northern neighbor, northeastern neighbor, great
Yeah, we
comic.
love that.
The Valley Joe E40, some hitters from out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But
we
yeah,
love that. Yeah.
Giovanni King, a great comic out of there. He had put something up like, "Oh, why did you get into comedy?" And I hadn't really thought about my comedy career like that, from that respect. And I said everything that I do now came from comedy, came from doing
Yeah.
comedy. It's the ultimate risk. You got to go up there and try to
Yeah,
entertain strangers.
that's
Uh,
true.
you could embarrass yourself. You could do whatever. There's all kinds of down, but it encourages you to take risks. You have to change. You have to be malleable on stage. You got to be ready to pivot, juke, do something
That's
different, and you got
true.
to learn how to live with failure. Because everybody's gonna bomb one night, and so being a comic is amazing. It's an amazing experience, but it
Would
is
you
definitely not for the faint of heart either.
would you ever go back to it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I like I occasionally, I would say probably like once a year, you know, probably on average once a year, I'll get up and do some like anniversary show that's going down, or some big thing that's going on. Or I still have shouts to like the people that still watch my clips. I'll post a comedy clip, and it'll get a bunch of views. So I'll go up to the Bay Area and do a one nighter or something like that for the fans up there. But yeah, man, I don't know that it would ever be my full-time job again. But
Yeah.
I've been actually working on a potential tour that would be like a hybrid of kind of TED Talks and comedy, where I take this whole concept
Mhm.
for Justin versus the future of like, here's how tech works, here's my story developing AI, and make it fun and funny.
That's cool. That's cool. Shout out to the Bay. We love the Bay. You know,
Yay area.
I was actually born and partly raised in San Jose, so I know what you're talking about. Bay Area people.
Oh, San Ho.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bay Area people. But you know what? We're gonna talk more to you. But let's get back in this countdown. The number 11 song comes from Raven Lene. The song is called "Love Me Not." Let's get into it. "Love Me Not" by Raven Lene on Big Old Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was a number 10 song. Max McNown with Better Me For You. Better Me For You. And speaking of romance, it's time to get to the second extra song of the week. Second extra song of the week is actually going to be the second single from the Back to the Love Room album. People actually, I played this song for a couple of people, and people love it. 1980, there was a song by this man named Rocky Robbins, had a song called "You and Me," and I love the song so much, I decided to remake it. Let's get into it. My remake of "You and Me" on Big Old Top 20 Countdown, second extra song of the week. Yeah, y'all, that was "You and Me." I love that song. Have you ever heard that song by Rocky
I don't think
Robbins?
so. I
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I probably have. I probably have.
it was a popular R&B record. It really didn't go on the pop charts. It was more like an R&B record. And you speaking of technology and R&B music and stuff like that, Justin, man, wow. Describe your transition from we already talked about it, but describe your transition from comedy to directing.
So it was like I said earlier, like everything I got to do has got to be organic, right? So it
Yes.
came from a place of, so many artists can relate to this. Came from a place of desperation. I had a book come out. I was kind of on top. I was like on my ascent in comedy. I was auditioning for like big podcast network to have my own hour. I was on a big podcast network doing my own thing, like broadcasting at Universal Studios. I had a book coming out. They were trying to make a TV show about the book, all this other stuff. And so I got real comfortable, like, okay, I'm about to pop off and I'll be getting paid. Uh, and as Hollywood does, it's just like one project after another kind of dropped off. And then, about 6, 8 months after the book had dropped, and I thought all this stuff was going to be happening for me. It just didn't. And I was kind of faced with this choice of, well, do I go back on the tour and start grinding and go back to producing my own shows? Or, do I try something else? And I needed money like yesterday, right? At this point. So I
So
had some friends that were running a digital technology company that does digital content, YouTube stuff. And this was
yeah.
right at the beginning, kind of the ascent of digital content. And I say, hey, look, guys, I've mentioned this to you all before, but I've been producing live shows for years and years and years. I guarantee you I could produce TV stuff. And I said, just give me any job. And they say, look, we got this shoot coming up. It's in Preservation Park. It's an overnight shoot. It's a horror thing. Nobody wants to do it. It's terrible hours. It's not good pay, but we need somebody there that can hold the logistics and all that. And I said, done, I'll do it. So just like I did with the tech, I started hitting people up I knew. I said, hey, what do I need to know? And all these terms and all this language. And I did it, man. And I just like I just showed up, I was like, I'm gonna bust my ass. And the director really liked me, the creative producer really liked me, and they said, hey, we want this guy back again. So they were doing actually a whole horror series that was going to last a while, and they asked for me to come on and be one of the producers. So that I started getting into that. I still was doing comedy. I had like a weekend of dates booked. I was producing something with them, and I had to leave early to go get on the
Mm.
road to go do a weekend of shows. I'm doing a weekend of shows. I'm with a headliner, and I won't say his name because he's actually doing really well now. But this guy was
But
one of my heroes. He was 20 years in the game at the time, and I had seen him on a movie about comedians, and like he was one of the people that inspired me. And we're sitting in the car getting ready, having finished this weekend of shows, and it's great shows and sold out audience and blah blah. And he's like, "Man, I don't know, I might get into real estate or some shit. I can't handle this anymore. It's too hard." And then he looks at me and goes, "Why aren't you headlining in big rooms like this?" And I all I could think to myself is like, man, you're 10 years into being like a room name and lights headliner, and you're talking to me about I might get into real estate because this is too hard. And you're asking me when I'm gonna like start 10 years behind you. And I really thought to myself about like, sort of the Malcolm Gladwell concept, the 10,000 hours. And I said to myself, like, I'm at this point where I'm good, but I'm not a master yet, and I need to complete my 10,000 hours, if you will. And
mm.
and I thought about how much I liked being on set, and and I said, look, there's kind of two trains of thought. One was like, I'm taking this spot from a comedian who's dying to get their 10,000 hours, and I'm just doing it for the check, and I'm doing it because out of habit, I guess, at this point. And then there's this other thing I love and is brand new to me, and like it's a new challenge to conquer. And I just said to myself, am I like, do I love comedy enough to give up another decade of my life to be at a level where I might be thinking about quitting still? And I just
Mm.
was like, nah, it's not what I want to do for a living anymore. So that was the decision in my head where it clicked for me that it was like, yo, I'm gonna get back to LA and I want to get into this producing thing. So man, it was so much of it was luck, so much of it was organic. I started another showrunner had me on for a day because they lost somebody, and then that person was like, we only want this guy. And then he actually was like, hey, you're a comedian, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, I need another director. We don't have enough time in the day to direct a B unit, which is like the secondary unit from the main crew, because we just need to get more shots and make it funny. He's like, you'll figure it out, make it funny. So I'm like, shit, I guess I'm a director now, right? So I go and I take it back, and they watch it. They're like, that was hilarious. We want you to be our permanent B unit and our line producer and our logistic person. You're going to be our go-to guy. So I'm directing little bits of the show, and then a couple weeks after that happens, I'm in a meeting for that show and the horror series that I'm now working on. And somebody
Mm.
busts through the door, goes, we just lost our director in New York for this music video. And at the time, we had in the network, we had these two really big stars. We're talking like 10 million followers apiece, blah, blah, blah. And
Oh wow.
they're like, they're doing their first original music. This is the music video for the first original song. It's a huge deal. We need a director in New York with a crew. And I go, I'm a director. They go, you direct? And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, shout out to my boys who were there that knew I'd only been directing 3 weeks, but they're like, yeah, he's a director. And he goes, well, you got New York people? I'm like, yeah, I got New York people. Like, I knew one person in New York that made stuff. And they said, well, hey, write us a treatment for this music video. We'll send you the song. And then tomorrow you got to pitch it to the artist. I had to Google, what a treatment was. I didn't even know what I was doing, right?
Oh
So
wow.
I take this song, put it in my headset Friday night. I got a Saturday morning with with the artists to pitch them the idea. And man, I just sat there and drank, listened to the song probably 150 times, wrote this treatment of what I think it should be after I learned what a treatment was, send it off.
Mm.
The next morning I get on the phone, this artist calls me directly and she goes, I saw the treatment. I love it. It's exactly our vision. You're our person. You know, tell us how you would do it. I off the top of my head, just I do like this, I do like that. Called a buddy who had actually directed me as a comedian in a TV show that were trying to make it with me years ago. And I said, hey, can you co-direct this with me? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I
Yeah.
can't take you, but could you be on the phone with me and whatever? So I got flown out to New York. They flew a crew out with me to New York. And then there was a crew in New York waiting for me. So I had 10 people in New York waiting for me. Took over this house in Brooklyn and we shot it all in a day. And it went on to be the biggest music video that the studio had ever put out. So then all of a sudden, I'm getting hit up all the time for music videos now. So then become a music video director, and people know me as this music video director. I did probably 15, 20 music videos after that. And I got brought on for some like as a B unit guy for some really big stuff. I did two Marilyn Manson videos with Johnny Depp and like all this kind of crazy stuff. But it was all just one random opportunity, taking it and running with it. And so for me, it was like my directing career literally started over the course of man. I started. I made that call
Mm.
begging like any kind of job in December of 2015, and by November of 2016, I was in New York City running my own crew, 12 people directing a huge music video. So it was like it was blessed. It was thanks to so many friends, so many people believing in me, giving me a shot. Um, but it was organic, man. You know, it wasn't like this conscious choice of like, oh, now I'm gonna go pursue this. How do I figure it out? It was just like fell into the right opportunity one after another and just kind of had a knack for it.
Wow, that is awesome. That is really, really awesome, man. That's a great story. That's a good story. Very, very entertaining. But you know, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna come back to you, but let's get back in this countdown. The number nine song comes from David Guetta, T Swims, Tones, and Die. The song is called "Gone, Gone, Gone." Let's get into it. "Gone, Gone, Gone." Number nine on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, we did a three in a row. We did David Guetta, T Swims, Tones, and I with "Gone, Gone, Gone." Number nine was Lady Gaga with "A Dead Dance." And number seven was Somber with Back to Friends. Now it's time to get to the Independent Song of the Week. If y'all don't know, because we don't have a musical guest, I'm putting my songs on. And you know, next week we're gonna world premiere the whole entire album Back to Love Room because it's coming out February 13th. So this is another song from it. This song is called Natural Love. Let's get into it. Natural Love by me. On Big, he's looking at me like, why are you playing your songs? But let's get into it. Natural Love by me on Big Old South 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was my song. You make me feel so good. Yeah. He's looking at me like, what's next?
No, I'm a
No,
big O fan. I'm a big O fan.
I appreciate you, man. We were supposed to, you know what? I'm secret. We were supposed to work on a video, but this didn't work out. He was supposed to be, he was the original director of the Gay for Crit video, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out the way it is. You're looking like,
I'm still salty about that because I had a vision for that, and I love the song. I think it's such a great song.
You know, but we're definitely gonna do a video. I think I definitely want to do a video. Maybe we should do a video to my song called what's the song? You can do anything. Let's do it like that. You can do anything. Let's set that date. Let's set that. You can do
I'll be
anything.
like this. People don't. O is one of the most impatient people I've ever met in my life. He's just like on the move. But he got look, but he follows through. He creates content. You know, this man is a machine at putting stuff out. So,
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's something I love to do. When you love to do something, it's never work. You notice? Do you notice that too?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think for me, like when something becomes and it feels like work, then that's when I'm done doing it. That's real for me. It's like the second I feel like I'm showing up to work for any endeavor, that's when I'm like, nah, this isn't for me anymore. It's time to keep moving. You know, it's time to do it moving because life's too short, man. I want to do things I love. I want to be engaged. I want to work with people I like. I want to, and you hit and miss on things like that, right? You're probably not going to get rich being that way and whatever. But for me, that's not the game. You know, it's
Yeah,
you can't take money with you when you die, but all those memories stay with you forever, you know?
you're right about that. You ain't lying about that. Um, of all the stuff that you're doing, what is your favorite thing that you've done, or that you would do for the rest of your life? A lot of people ask me that.
You know, that's the thing is I don't know that there's anything that if there's any work that I would do for the
Mhm.
rest of my life. Because I think that there are people that I will work with for the rest of my life. there are people that I would do projects with, and keep collaborating with forever, and will keep collaborating with forever. But I think the project is only as good as the people you make it with. It's only as good as what you're trying to get. So for me, I haven't found anything where I would be happy just doing the process over and over and over again. But I have met with and worked with people along the way that I would always be happy to work with them. So there's comics where I'd be like, I could get into a project with this person and work with them forever, right? But we would
Mhm.
be, it's about that creation and that new thing. And I think um, I think that's something I'm proud of myself with is that, um, I'm like the Forrest Gump. I have a million different jobs. I've been in a million different places, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But film is probably the closest to that. That would probably be the closest. Is that process is so unique and presents so many unique challenges. But no, man, I don't know that I could commit to saying, oh, this is what I would do forever. Even at my age, I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life professionally. I will say this
Mhm.
though. I will say this. I will work probably until the day I die. I will always have some project. So,
That's a good thing. It's always a good thing. That is always a good thing. But you know what? He stopped. He's ready for the pause. I like that. You anticipated the pause. I love it. I love it. But you guys, let's get back in this countdown. The number six song comes from Ed Sheeran. We're gonna get to your business next. The number six song comes from Ed Sheeran. The song is called Camera. Let's get into it. Camera by Ed Sheeran, number six on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was the number five song, Daisies. Now it's because we're taping this show in November of 2025, but it's going to be broadcast February 5th, 2026. And this is actually the birthday of one of my very favorites, Bobby Brown. And this is old school gem of the week, comes from him. This song is called Every Little Step, one of his most famous songs. Let's get into it. Every Little Step by Bobby Brown, old school gem of the week on Big Old Step 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was the awesome old school gem. Every little step I take. You remember that? Come on.
oh, of
You
course,
with
man, I'm singing it in
that's
my head right now.
every little
You
step I
with me, every little step
take.
I take, dude. You can smoke all the crack you want if you can sing like that. If you make hits like Bobby, you're good with me.
That's what I said. I said he may have been a crackhead, but he's still awesome. But
Still
you know
Bobby
what?
Brown. You
Yeah,
know what?
shout out.
Smoking crack was his prerogative. All right, that
Yeah,
was all
for
right.
real. That was yeah, for real. For real. That's what I said. But you know what also it's also Black History Month. And so we're gonna just a little snippet of the Black History profile. It is a Bobby Brown, and he was born February 5th, 1969. He's an American singer, songwriter, dancer, and actor. Brown started his career in the night R&B and pop group New Edition from its inception in 1978 until his exit of the group in 1985. Starting his solo career, he enjoyed his success with his second album in 1988 titled Don't Be Cruel, which spawned a number of hit singles, including the self-penned we just talked about in My Prerogative. And the Grammy Award winning song we just played, Every Little Step, which became his signature song. Brown has a string of top 10 hits on various Billboard charts between 1986 and 1993. Brown is noted as a pioneer of New Jack Swing and a fusion of hip hop and R&B. He also starred in films such as A Thin Line Between Love and Hate and Two Can Play That Game. He returned to New Edition for a reunion album and a tour from 1996 to 1997, and returned with all six members for another stint in 2005 until present. And from 1992 to 2007, Brown was married to singer Whitney Houston, may she forever rest in peace, with whom he had a daughter, Bobby Christina, which is no longer with us. The couple starred in the reality show Beating Bobby Brown, and now currently he has a hit show on BET called The Bobby Story, and that's the what you call it Black History profile of the week. That's
Bobby
kind of
Brown.
weird.
That's an interesting one to go with for Black History Month. He is
Yeah,
black. He is a
yeah,
part of history. So all right.
yeah. I do that I do that on my page every week. Every month. I mean, every day of Black History Month. I do that every week just to honor because we don't have a lot. Let's not get into the culture, but you know what I'm talking
And you
about.
know what? But I would say I love it because I think Bobby Brown gets only remembered for the drugs and substance abuse is a real disease. So we probably even
Yeah,
shouldn't be laughing at it. But I mean, we also forget like Bobby was a hit maker, man.
he
I mean,
was.
you can't tell me that the party doesn't go off when My Prerogative plays. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, definitely, man. It definitely does, especially that one. And then, oh man, come on, now. Every little step I take. Come
no,
on
no.
now, over, man. We still, we
Bobby's a
still.
legend. Bobby's a legend. Give the man his due. I appreciate. I props to giving Bobby his due. Bobby deserves it.
For real. Speaking of legends, speaking of, I mean, you know what? You alluded to it earlier, but we're gonna get in your business now. We're gonna get in your business now. You set up for this. What's your
I had to prepare myself. What's coming? What's coming? I'll be ready for this.
what's your love life look like?
Oh man, my love life doesn't exist, bro. Like,
Are you
uh,
serious?
this is the thing with having a company is like, especially like a startup in the world of technology is it's fast, it's competitive. I'm doing media, probably once a week. I'm doing getting ready for some big appearance. We'd be on Good Morning Australia sometime this year. We did Good Morning Britain or whatever their version of that is. We do 60 Minutes in Brazil. Like we're kind of all over the place. We just doing a good housekeeping thing. I mean, so between that and then day-to-day operations and the R&D and this project and that project, it's hard to get out and find that connection. And I also think I'm at, like, we joke about being romantics, but I'm at that place where I want to like meet somebody and start a family. And so I think,
Mhm.
I believe that like a relationship is work and effort, and you got to be present and show up. And I think my mind is so in my business and in my company that I don't have that level of commitment and attention to pay to somebody right now.
That's right. That's right. I can understand that. That's a good answer. That's a great answer. It's like a lot to get the fuck out of my business.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's
Get
just
out of my
it's
business.
just it's a boring truth. It's like shit, love life. I don't even know what that means anymore.
But I know how you feel. I don't feel bad. I know how you feel. But you know what? We always do a minute of inspiration. Somebody give some inspiration to somebody who wants to do what you're doing as far as life is concerned, as far as your tech, uh, life, whatever. Just give somebody just a minute. Just give me a minute of something positive.
This is the thing is I think if you people say this and I didn't believe it for the longest time, but like trusting the process is crucial. And what I found out is I've gotten to do and work on so many incredible projects and so many incredible experiences. And I think when I was younger, it was always about when do I get to the next bigger thing? When do I get to the next bigger thing? And as I started getting older, I realized that, the fun and the joy was doing it, right? That's the joy of creating. So I think um, if you're working on something that you're passionate about and you care about, if you're blessed enough to be, whether you're getting paid for it or you're in a position where you can do it or you're sleeping in your car or whatever it is, which we've all been into those positions, remember to tap into the joy of that process because that is what it was all about. It was that journey. It's the people you met. And I think if you find yourself reminiscing about about all the different things you've made and all the different people you've worked with and all the different experiences you have, you're a rich and successful person already, and you're fortunate beyond most people. Most people sit back and they think and they have memory, and it's the same two, three things that they've been doing, and that might work for them. But I think to the artists and dreamers out there, it's like as long as you're pushing, you're winning. As long as you're still making something, you're winning. There's no such thing as losing if you're creating your art, you're creating your passion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Everybody needs to know that. Everybody needs to hear that. But it's time to get back in this countdown. The number four song comes from Benson Boone. The song is called Mystical Magical. Let's get into it. Mystical Magical by Benson Boone on Big Old Top 20 Countdown, baby. Yeah. Yeah, y'all. That was the number. We did it three in a row for you. We did Benson Boone with Mystical Magic, number four. Number three was Hunter X with Golden. And number two was Alex Warren with Ordinary. That's the one that just will not quit. That song just was like, woo. But you guys, it's time to get to the number one song. The number one song comes from, you guessed it, the queen of the countdown, Taylor Swift. This album just was like, will not stop selling. I swear she's trying to be Michael. She's trying to be Thriller, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Michael be like,
Are we
she was
surprised by
gonna
that
be
now?
my
This is every Taylor Swift album is like this. We can't be surprised. Every album she puts out just dominates.
You're right. You're right.
Girl is kind
And
of unstoppable. She's kind of
She
unstoppable.
is. She is. She is. She can come up with A, B, C, D, and it'll be number one. It'll be a number one hit. And this is this little song. This is a single from it. This is the number one song. The song is called "Fate of Ophelia." Let's get into it. The "Fate of Ophelia," number one on Big Top 20 Countdown, baby. Yeah. Yeah, y'all, that was the number one song. Don't ask me to sing it. I cannot. I don't know the words to that song, and I'm not. I'm not really. To be honest with you, I'm not really a huge Taylor Swift fan, so I really don't know all the words. But Justin, how can people reach you?
Check it. If you're interested in the technology, go to myyov.com. That's myyov.com. Of course, you can find me on social media. The real Justin Harrison at Instagram. That's probably the best way if you wanna follow me. And of course, you can go to Big O's page and find me there too. I'm sure you'll tag me in this, but yeah,
Yes,
at the real Justin Harrison is probably the best way to get in touch with me, man. Thanks for having me.
my pleasure. I want to say thank you to our guest, Justin Harrison, and thank you to all the listeners. You guys have been holding me down for the past 10 seasons. You guys, wow, this is our 383rd show. 83rd, 84th. I want to say thank you guys for just holding me down, keeping me down like that. And also thank you to the Block FM, with Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, every station that characters. Also, thank you to Exposing Music Awards. We just won a music award for my 4525 album. Thank you so much. And also, we won a music award for my Hypocrite song. Thank you guys so much for that. And if you all want to reach me, you can reach me at www.linktree.com/OLUSHEYI 40, the 40. And if y'all, thought for the week is never, ever, ever give up. No matter what nobody else tells you, you can make it. And we always end this with a gospel song. But we're going to end this with a song that's going to be on the show next week. This song is called "Love One Another." Let's get into it. Love one another. My song. May God bless you. May God keep you until we meet again.